Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video with Mac Morris, and today we're doing this fun little move called the downtown. So jumping right into it, as you see, you start off with your feet parallel. You should be pretty comfortable as you start to get more into jam skating, and obviously standing straight up, hanging out should be a bare minimum. I also say check out the crossover specifically because of this move I'm doing here, which is that your legs do cross a little bit. Let me be clear, it is not the same motion as you're going to see when you do the crossover, but your legs are going to cross themselves. So you want to make sure that you can handle being on one foot and whatnot, and that's when those 1-2s come into play because your weight's constantly going to be shifting between the two. So what I'm showing here is when you're pushing off from the direction that you're coming from, it'd be the same motion that you would do if you were going backwards. So it's that same push when you get started because you're going back and you go forward. You're doing a triangular shape. And so when you do it, you're pushing off with the outside of your foot, going back. That foot that you pushed off with kind of tucks in front of the one that's going in the back one, essentially. And then once you get into that V shape that you'll see in this clip coming up, you will switch them and the other foot will lead, and the foot that you just pushed off with will then fall behind the other one. And basically you just shift back and forth. And so we'll do this. I'll do this a couple times so you'll be able to see exactly what I mean. And I'll pause it at some point so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. But when you get to this V, that is the key point where you have to shift your weight and put all your weight now on that other leading foot, because now you're switching directions and you want to make sure that you're ready for that stop that's coming up. And so when you do get to that stop and the point that you're at the end of the V, you want to make sure that you put it in a direction that's you're not going too fast to where you're going to fall over, but you're using that outer foot to stop you the same way that you would just staying still any other way that you would if you were just standing up. So here's another angle, just from the front, a little closer up, just to step through it again. You're going to do push off, cross, hit the V, cross again, but switch the legs and pause. The only time during this downtown that that both skates are on the ground at the same time is when you get to the end of the Vs, the two top corners. Every other time you're constantly switching between your weight on both skates. And so be careful with that. Yes, it can get kind of funky. It can feel like, whoa, okay, I'm going to lose my balance. But this is when those 1-2s and being comfortable on balancing on your skates one at a time comes into play. One last look, super slow-mo, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're going to look at this left foot here. We're going to push off. When we push off with this left foot, our weight's going to be on the right foot. We're going to leave for a bit. When we hit that V, we're going to pop over to the left foot for all your weight. Set up your right foot, and then you're going to put your weight back on that left foot to keep leading you. We're using that same momentum we started out with to get us there. And then remember, perpendicular to the direction you're going is going to stop you, as you can see here. So once again, same thing. We're going to start with that right foot this time, pushing off from that right foot, pushing off again. Now that left foot's going to be holding you. When you get to that, let me hold up a little bit. When you get to that V, remember you're going to switch your weight momentarily so you can set up that left foot. So I'll wait on that right foot, set up the left, and then swap back. Now that back foot is holding you again. And then remember, perpendicular is coming up. Now you're going to pause yourself. One last note too, you'll see, as you probably already seen, I do like a little jump too at the end of it, and you've probably seen people do it if you're on social media or following skaters and whatnot. That is just flair. I wouldn't focus too much on that right now. Just focus on getting the motions correct, making sure you can shift your weight and that you aren't falling left and right and breaking your ankles in the process, because that's the most important thing. As like I mentioned before, take it slow, take it easy, don't do anything too crazy, and I promise it'll come along. Take your time. And once you get the move, like, you can jam out with all your friends. You guys can do little line dances, because this is one that pops up quite a bit when you start to get more into line dances. as always, please start slow. Just get the motions correct. Get used to stopping first before you start to speed up and do your freestyles and everything. Because like I said, if you go too fast, it can feel like, oh man, can I stop? And then obviously you are kind of switching your hips back and forth because you're doing the V. And so if you're doing it and you're about to see me do it all the way across the screen, if you're doing it in times like that where you're just freestyling, it can feel like, whoa, if I don't stop soon, I will literally topple over. So be careful, go slow, and then obviously as you get more comfortable, you understand the movements, speed it up, do what you want, add in your own flair, and you'll see me do it as the rest of this video plays out.
Shut up and sit down.